98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com presents the Mid-Columbia Today Show with Mark Bailey. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital and Del Carpine Automotive. Now, here's Mark Bailey.
Good morning. It's 8:04. I'm Mark Bailey. Mid-Columbia Today, both live on your radio and streaming live on your computer or mobile device or whatever you might have. And, of course, on our podcast as well that you can get any place you download podcasts. Welcome. And I am back after taking a week off. Thanks to Marty Dane again for filling in while I was off playing golf and visiting parents and all those things. But I have returned, and here's what we're going to do today. First part of the show, Mayor of Hood River Paul Blackburn is going to join us. And we will talk about a couple things, including they are moving people in to Mariposa Village. And going to talk about also a little bit a project which I admit I wasn't that aware of. I think I was vaguely aware of it. But a hydroelectric project that now is up and running with the city water involved. So we'll talk about that. Second half of the program, Klickitat County Commissioner Ron Ihrig is going to join us. They have got a ton of different little public hearings coming up tomorrow, including continuation of the Dallas-Port water rate hearing that's been going on. They're also going to talk about their battery energy storage system moratorium. And there are a couple other things as well, including ADU regulations. So we'll try to go through a lot of that with Ron here coming up in the second half of the show after the bottom of the hour. But first, as we always do, let's tell you about this day as men and what it means, at least to some people. This day in 1814, during the War of 1812, British forces invaded Washington, D.C., setting fire to the still under construction Capitol and the White House, as well as other public buildings. 1912, Congress passed a measure creating the Alaska Territory. 1932, Amelia Earhart embarked on a 19-hour flight from Los Angeles to Newark, New Jersey, marking her the first woman to fly solo nonstop from coast to coast. 1981, Mark David Chapman sentenced in New York to 20 years to life in prison for murdering John Lennon. 1989, baseball commissioner A. Bartlett Giamatti banned Pete Rose from the game for betting on his own team, the Cincinnati Reds. This day in 1992, Hurricane Andrew smashed into Florida. The storm resulted in 65 deaths and caused more than $26 billion in damage across Florida, Louisiana, and the Bahamas. 2006, the International Astronomical Union declared Pluto was no longer a full-fledged planet, demoting it to the status of a dwarf planet. 2018, the family of Arizona Senator John McCain announced he had discontinued medical treatment for an aggressive form of brain cancer. McCain died the following day. And this day in 2019, police in Aurora, Colorado, responding to a report of a suspicious person used a chokehold to subdue Elijah McClain, a 23-year-old black man. He suffered cardiac arrest on the way to the hospital and was later declared brain dead and taken off life support. Our days for today, it is can opener day today. We salute the simple yet very, very important kitchen and other tool. It's also National Knife Day today. It is Shooting Star Day today. It's also Weather Complaint Day, which I thought was every day somewhere at least. People love to complain about the weather forecast not being right. It's just part of human nature, I guess. And there was no explanation on this one. It's International Strange Music Day today. I'm not sure what would qualify as strange music. I would think that would be in the ear of the beholder. Our food for today, it's National Peach Pie Day today. And peach is being harvested as we speak, so some fresh peach pie, I'm sure would be pretty good. It's also today, if you're thinking about something for breakfast, haven't decided yet, it's National Waffle Day today. I love waffles. They're great. And they're versatile is the thing. You can do what you want with them. So there it is for what it's worth. Might not be a whole lot. 8:09 in the morning. We'll be back after this.
Hi, this is Nicole with McCoy Holliston Insurance, powered by Your Policy. We're honored to be recognized the best insurance agency in the Gorge 5 years running. This reflects the trust, loyalty, and long-term relationships we've built with our clients for nearly 80 years. At McCoy Holliston, we take pride in offering dependable guidance and personal service. Whether you need protection for your home, car, business, farm, or life, your trust means everything to us. Call us at McCoy Holliston Insurance, where relationships and service still come first.
Looking to level up your fitness game? The Power Station in Hood River is your one-stop spot for strength, sweat, and now indoor pickleball. Yup, is it too hot, too cold, too windy, or crowded? The Power Station has a state-of-the-art indoor pickleball court, perfect for all-weather play, lessons, training, and play with your group. Whether you're crushing weights or dinking at the net, the Power Station keeps you moving strong. Learn more and book your court time now at powerstationhr.com, where Hood River trains and plays.
It's easy to take simple conveniences for granted. Ever feel overwhelmed while running kids to sports practice, the store, and doctor's appointments? What if you didn't have transportation? Many of our Gorge neighbors face this challenge every day, and now you can help with Bicoastal Media's Wheels of Hope, presented by C.H. Ernest Motors. This fall, we'll hand over the keys to a 2015 Nissan Sentra. If you know of a local family that has fallen on hard times and needs a vehicle, you can help by nominating them. Nominate a vehicle-challenged family today at gorgeradio.com. Make a difference in the lives of others in our community. Wheels of Hope also supported by A&E Plumbing, Heating and Air, Walmart of the Gorge, Pioneer Appliance, Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation, Skyline Health, Sinclair, Wagap, Bimart, and Pee-wee's Auto Detail. Visit gorgeradio.com to see how you can make a difference with Wheels of Hope.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and gorgeradio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
It is 8:11 in the morning. Hooter Mayor Paul Blackburn now joins us on the phone. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Mark. Good to be with you.
Good to have you on once again. We'll jump right in here and talk maybe a little bit about. I think I kind of knew about this project, but it's vague and like back in whenever this was first put together. I don't remember much about it. But the city got involved in a hydro project, I understand. And so
you should give yourself full grace, Mark, because these kinds of things take a long time. We solicited the funding, we got the funding, we explored it, we engineered it, and so it's been a long time. But the headline now is it's online creating electricity for our city, and what an exciting pilot that we've gotten to be, learning about and kind of paving the way for.
So where is this exactly? I think it's up in the D area, if I understood right.
Right. So the water that each of us brings out of our spigot comes from beautiful, pristine water source on the side of Mount Hood. We don't tell everybody where it is for safety. And then there's a 2-foot diameter pipe that comes down. And along the route, we stuck in like a propeller, like a turbine, like Bonneville Dam, that spins around and makes electricity.
And I've heard of other water systems doing this. It's not necessarily a unique project. It's just, as you said, it takes time to get it together.
Yeah, and the piece of machinery that we stuck in there, I once got sort of laughed at council because I said, so are we going to use wrenches and stuff to put it in? And they're like, no, it's a very expensive, very carefully engineered, maybe it's called an impeller, or I can't remember, but it spins around like it does at any other dam. And it's just very sophisticated. Of course, it has to be pristine sanitary because this is our drinking water.
Yeah. So you mentioned that does this electricity go into into Pacific Power, or where does this all head to?
So the total amount it generates, just for context, we have about 3,000 households in our city, and this provides the electricity on average like 50 or 70 households. So it just goes into the actual general grid, and then the city is able to sell it back. It's a complicated formula with Pacific Power.
Does the city? I mean, again, it's not a big project, obviously, but does the city, through that formula, do you generate revenue?
Yes.
Okay, which lends to the question. Again, I would expect it's not a real big amount of money here, but what
right? It's not for me. For me, the concept of, well, how many people, how many households are we powering, offsetting the carbon needs? That's for me the thing I've kind of focused on. I don't remember the dollar amount, but suffice it to say, it's not a moneymaker. No. But it was a grant-funded thing where we're learning about how to do this, and hopefully, 10, 20 years down the road, as they're more common and widespread, we will continue to have this renewable source as a piece of our power grid.
Well, I was just kind of curious if you are getting some revenue from it, where that revenue might get used. Do you keep it within the water budget and use it within in some small way to help maintain and operate the water system as a whole?
Right, that's the most logical connection. Frankly, I can't remember whether it's general fund or water fund, but the idea is that it saves our users, it saves our, whether it comes off taxpayer or utility fee, it goes back into the operation.
Mariposa Village, I understand there are actually people now moving into it.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. You and I have been talking about this. Seems like during the 12-year span I've been mayor, we got this thing built, and now when you drive by, you think, oh gosh, this is not a very welcoming home to come home to. It's still a major construction site. Many of the 130 units are still being constructed, but we do have our first families living there, and what a landmark watershed moment. We're going to have a ribbon cutting in 27 when the last ones are occupied. So we're sort of we would call it a soft opening if it was a restaurant, I guess.
And if I remember correctly out of all this, the plan was kind of a two-phase plan to begin with. It was you had a set that was going to get opened up initially, and then there was a second phase coming fairly quickly behind, which kind of alludes to that 2027 ribbon cutting.
Yes, and that's kind of the way it is now. The logistical details of how the construction people can most effectively create these homes dictated a lot of that. And for example, there will be another entrance out the sort of what feels like the backside, out the west side of this property, connecting over towards Les Schwab, connecting over towards the former Stonehenge restaurant. That will be at the phase. Right now, you just drive in through from Rand through the chain link fence.
That does bring up. I mean, I know this has been discussed, but especially until everything is done at the other end of it, do we have a handle of what we're expecting for Rand Road? I mean, there is the logistical traffic element to this, and my concern is pedestrians out there.
Yeah, and we made a tough decision. The question was, should we put sidewalk all the way to the top along Rand, which there is not. What we decided is there is a sidewalk on the Taco Bell side, on the east side of Rand. There is a sidewalk, and so presently pedestrians walk across crosswalk to that sidewalk, and then they can descend and go to Safeway and whatnot. It is a very walkable neighborhood once you cross Rand, but the first few steps are suboptimal, and that was a cost consideration for us.
Yeah. A discussion, City Council, a couple weeks ago, and again, there's no City Council meeting tonight, by the way, for those who don't know, but the animal control got a lot of discussion. You've entered into a new IGA with the county on this. But I think it's fair to say this remains an open question in regard to the shelter, and that, of course, is to do a lot with Hood River Adopt-A Dog status and what it may be in the next little while.
Exactly, and for those who've been paying attention, there's a lot of players in this. A generous local family gave a bunch of money to have there be really premium services for sheltering dogs, and that money has provided wonderful service through this nonprofit Hood River Adopt-A Dog, and they have a contract with the county to coordinate that. We, the city, have a contract with the county say, we're going to pay you this amount of money, and we're going to rely on you to provide this service. Sometimes it's their animal control officer who picks up a wayward dog. Sometimes it's our officers who take it directly to the shelter, but we really rely on the county function to provide the follow-up and maybe find the owner and take care of the paperwork and the kibble and the details of the exact level of service that we can afford to provide, just like nearly every other municipal service. Like, we would all have to have hot and cold running, margaritas in our home, but it's a question of, can we afford?
Again, with the discussion as far as how the shelter continues to operate, and is there much the city can do really in that regard? As you mentioned, really, you are in many ways a customer here of the county for the animal control services. Is this something the city would consider beginning to get involved with as far as trying to, make the future for the shelter a little bit more certain than it is right now?
I think a really telling moment in the discussion, and I really celebrate my colleagues, it was such a thoughtful, earnest conversation. At one point in the conversation, we were talking about shelter services, and we meant the dog shelter, but somebody, maybe it was me, was confused, like, wait, are we talking now about the FCAC, like, homeless shelter? Like, how do you prioritize the amount of money you budget to take care of dogs versus to take care of people? I mean, these are all essential services, so we really have to make hard decisions about, look, we contract with the county, and they provide the level of service that they can afford.
Okay, so, and it was pointed out in that the contract you signed has an out, doesn't it, if the feeling is that the shelter is not adequate?
Correct.
But, of course, then the question would be, okay, you could exercise that out. What would the option be?
That's correct, exactly. I feel like you understand it's a difficult spot, and we all wish, this was a kinder world.
Yeah, it's a tough, again, it's like, you come down to money, and we also know the reality of Hood River County's situation right now, which is not good budgetarily for them at this time. That's why they're going through all of what they're going through at this point. So we'll have to.
There's such a high demand for the essential services that the county provides, and the dollars are limited. So this is why the commissioners get the big bucks. Just kidding, to make these difficult decisions.
One other thing to get to here, and that's because school is going to get started here pretty soon. I think in the Hood River County School District, teachers are getting there today or tomorrow, one of the two. I think they start next week. And there is, in the Hood River Middle School area, there are some changes, aren't there, that people should be aware of if they're going to be traveling in that area, particularly during school times?
Absolutely. I mean, for the municipal wonks and nerds like me, a really interesting thing is we actually moved a fire hydrant, which imagine is no small thing, but the traffic pattern is slightly changed right there where the pool meets the school and meets the fire department. So just keep heads up. People are crossing, and there's new patterns and quite a robust safe routes to schools bike path there and a green crosswalk. And so expect it to be busy like it always is, and expect kids to make perfect decisions like they always do.
Yeah, but so there's the new bike lane on 17. Then we probably should just point out overall the kids are going to be out, and we will mention this, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks with various people. So just be careful out there as a general rule.
Yeah, exactly. We've got, as you say, the teachers back this week, the kids back next week, and new schools and new routes, and of course there's that funky sidewalk between the middle school and Providence Hospital where it's still under repair, and so that's I think well protected from pedestrians, separated from cars. It's kind of a funny situation, so it's that time of year.
So, again, I mentioned earlier the City Council not meeting tonight in its usual spot. They'll be back at it in September. So as we head into the fall, I know a lot of focus is going to be on the housing and police bond measures. I understand that. But pushing those aside, what do you anticipate is going to be the focus for the City Council over the next couple of months?
another difficult issue that we're trying to balance is we declared an emergency because of the strong ice presence, and then, frankly, we were almost prepared to sunset that emergency, and then there was another surge, and people were taken again, and so we had to extend that, and we are offering some funding to some of the nonprofits that are supporting the folks left behind when certain individuals are taken by ice. So imagine that balance. We're trying to decide how to spend on snow plows and dog shelters and immigrant support. So that issue seems to be, I don't like it because we're so reactive. We have to respond to what happens with the federal government, but that is another very emotional conversation for counselors. And of course, there's the upcoming election. There's the deadlines for filing has just happened, so there's going to be a change of personnel up there.
Well, actually, I should know. I think the actual deadline to file is tomorrow, if I remember right, end of tomorrow, on the 25th.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring this up because now you are not running for re-election. You've already said you're stepping away, so you are outside of this a bit. But right now, there's exactly one mayor candidate. There's exactly 3 city council candidates for 3 spots. So if someone's thinking about doing this, I kind of think it's good if there are multiple candidates available.
It's important to vote. We should take ownership of the choices we make about our elected leaders, and having it be a slam dunk is not always the best way.
8:25 in the morning. Hood River Mayor Paul Blackburn's been with us. Paul, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark. Have a good day.
Have a good day. 8:25 in the morning. We'll come back with more after this.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the gorgeous local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
It is now 8:28 in the morning on Mid-Columbia Today. Reminder, Klickitat County Commissioner Ron Ihrig is going to join us in a few minutes here, and we will talk to him about what's going on with Klickitat County, including they've got, again, a host of hearings tomorrow. I mean, they are going to be busy tomorrow afternoon. So we will do that in just a few minutes, but let's go ahead and get right to the news. A high-speed pursuit through Hood River and Mosier ended with a crash and an arrest on Friday. Hood River police say an officer first spotted a Dodge Charger speeding on I-84 near exit 64. A short time later, another officer saw the same car run a red light and speed recklessly through downtown Hood River, where pedestrians and patrons were nearby. The officer tried to stop the vehicle, but police say the driver fled eastbound on I-84. The Charger was later spotted near Mosier, where the driver again refused to stop and headed back toward Hood River. An attempted spike strip deployment was unsuccessful. An Oregon State Police trooper later spotted the Charger in Hood River. The driver again sped away, eventually crashing near Country Club Road and Barrett Drive. An automated 911 crash alert from the driver's cell phone also notified dispatch. Police found the driver a short distance from the crash and took the person into custody. The driver faces charges including reckless driving, felony attempting to elude, DUI, and driving while suspended. Police say no innocent motorists or pedestrians were seriously injured. Mid-Columbia Fire and Rescue is investigating a brush fire in the Dalles as suspicious. Firefighters were dispatched around 3:30 Saturday afternoon to the Mill Creek Trail and drainage area between West 9th and West 6th Streets. The fire was reported near the site of 2 other recent fires in the area. Mid-Columbia Fire and Rescue responded with help from the Oregon Department of Forestry and Dallasport Fire District. Firefighters quickly contained the blaze, preventing it from spreading into nearby vegetation or threatening surrounding properties. No injuries were reported. Because of the fire's location and circumstances, officials say they're investigating it as suspicious. Anyone who may have witnessed how the fire started or saw suspicious activity in the area around the time of the incident asked to contact Mid-Columbia Fire and Rescue Fire Marshal's office at firemarshal@mcfr.org. A suspect in the deaths of 5 people at a rural Forest Grove property was found dead in Washington State in an apparent suicide. Coin TV reports the Washington County Sheriff's Office identified the suspect as 36-year-old Benjamin Parker. Enumclaw police found Parker dead inside a vehicle behind a Safeway store Sunday. Authorities say Parker knew the 5 victims. The bodies were discovered Saturday after firefighters responding to a vehicle fire at a rural property found human remains and multiple domesticated animals. Investigators have not released the victims' identities or cause of death. Sheriff Caprice Massey said there is no ongoing threat to the Forest Grove community and emphasized authorities do not believe the killings were random. The investigation remains active with local, state, and federal agencies assisting. The Grasshopper Fire now at 93,693 acres and 76% containment. Fire officials say threats to the north, west, and south continue to ease as containment holds, and crews make progress with mop-up, snagging, and suppression repair. The High Lava Fire, the Gifford Pinchot National Forest, now at 1,908 acres and is 19% contained. The fire located about 11 miles northwest of Stabler. Fire behavior remains moderate, with the most active fire currently on the southeast side. Crews have been conducting strategic firing operations along portions of the southern and eastern containment lines. Current temperatures, 65 in Stevenson, 62 in the Dalles, 63 in Hood River. It is 8:31 in the morning.
Hey, it's Zach from Del Carpine Automotive. You know those tall Sprinter vans that look like they could secretly double as apartments? Yeah, we work on those, and we know them really well. Whether it's your adventure rig, work van, or mystery mobile full of camping gear and snacks from 2022, we've got you covered. We're now just 10 minutes up the hill in our great new location in Hood River. Come see us. From Mercedes and Ford, big rigs to Sprinters, no job's too big or small. At Del Carpine, we work on them all. Family owned and locally trusted.
Do you know how to make your materials recycle ready? Well, for starters, don't leave food and liquids in them. Food is good for you, but not for your recycling. Scrape the food into your compost or trash, rinse and dry the accepted materials, and then they are recycle ready. Accepted materials are limited, so check the Waste Wizard on the Solid Waste webpage to learn how to dispose of each item correctly. The Klickitat County Solid Waste Department and Republic Services thank you for recycling right.
Did you know Skyline Health in White Salmon has its very own sports medicine doc superstar? That's right, Dr. Ryan Petering trained at OHSU, cared for professional Nike athletes, and even spent more than 15 years teaching other doctors how it's done. From sporting injuries to arthritis, he's here to help you move better, feel stronger, and keep doing the things you love. Want to live life to its fullest? Step right up and visit myskylinehealth.org. Skyline Health, world-class care right here at home.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And we are back at 8:33 in the morning on Mid-Columbia Today, and we're now joined on the telephone by Klickitat County Commissioner Ron Ihrig. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, Mark.
Well, good to have you on the show. Thanks for doing this. And you're going to be busy tomorrow afternoon. You've got 4 hearings.
Oh, yeah. We in the morning during our workshop, we're going to have a child care workshop from 10:30 to noon. We're having some people from Garfield County to come down and visit what they've done in their process of putting a child care together. And then in the afternoon, we've got a continuation of our public hearing for the Dalesport wastewater that we had last Thursday, and we continued it till Tuesday to take any additional comments. Then we have a public hearing to consider the extension of the moratorium for the interim zoning controls and the battery storage. And then we have a public hearing on a proposed amendment to the county recreation park ordinance. Then we have a public meeting on our ADUs, which the Planning Commission had a public hearing on it. It's coming to us. So we'll have that discussion whether we adopt what they give us or whether we hold our own public hearing. So we have quite a bit on the agenda tomorrow.
I'm going to start with the child care discussion because this has been going on for a little while. I think I'm trying to remember where you went. I think it may not have been you, maybe Lori Zoller from the commission who went, but a group from Klickitat County went. I want to say went to Boardman to take a look at something. I forget where you went.
That was Commissioner Zoller.
Yeah.
Went to Boardman, and then I think they had a tour up in Carson area or Stevenson.
Mm-hmm. So. Where are you hoping to try to land on this? I mean, I know child care is an issue, it seems, everywhere, and Klickitat County has been termed a child care desert. what is kind of the goal here out of this as far as the county as a government being involved?
Well, I think we're just going to have to run through the process, and I had spoke to Elisa from Garfield County and what they did and what the steps they took. And what they ended up doing was hiring somebody as a 0.5 full-time equivalent employee, and they're running that. And so we just need to go through the process so then we could decide what's the next steps, which is ideal at this time because we will be receiving our first draft of the budget on September 1st. And we got multiple things coming towards the budget. I mean, there was some discussion on the dog kennels. What are we going to do on that? We got child care, positions for the sheriff's office. There's just quite a bit of asks.
You mentioned a half-time FTE that Garfield County uses in regard to child care. What kind of duties does that person undertake? Is it recruitment? Is it trying to coordinate where people go? I guess I could see various ways this could work.
Yeah, how they do it, that their health department went out and they did multiple surveys, what's the needs in the communities, so they could tell, how many children and parents might be interested in the facility. They go out and also, how do we educate to hire people in the workforce? So they're doing multiple different things. So it'll be a good, interesting discussion. And then we have the state Department of Commerce also talking about an ELF grant, which is a grant to remodel an existing building for child care. So there's multiple moving parts.
And the reason I also go on this halftime FTE is it's well known. Right now, you're trying to do an adjustment to your budget for the next 3 to 5 years, deal with some fiscal realities, and you're really trying to avoid hiring people, I won't say at all, but at least be very strategic about it. How would this fit in? And this gets back to you mentioning getting the budget in September. How do you fit this in, given that reality of what you're trying to do to ensure the fiscal health of the county?
Well, that's a good question. That's something the board's going to work with or struggle with because we have quite a bit of needs, and we just going to have to prioritize where our spending's going to go.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be discussed in the morning on Tuesday. Tomorrow, a Klickitat County Commission meeting in Goldendale that people can jump on and live stream. Wait, actually, speaking of live stream, did I hear, I've been on vacation here a bit, so I'm behind on a lot of things. Did I hear you had, I think this is the second time you've dealt with this, another unfortunate, someone basically hacking into your commission meeting and putting up some not particularly suitable content?
Yes, that is correct. That did happen week before last, a couple weeks ago, in the middle of our afternoon session.
What sort of steps are available to take to try to prevent this? I mean, obviously it's not good for everybody involved here. People are trying to obviously watch this or get information from it. The archive gets messed up by it. It disrupts the flow of your meeting as a whole. Are there steps that can be taken? I'm sure you're looking into to try to prevent this in the future.
That is correct. Here, several months ago, we started getting new updates on what we use on the hardware as well as software. So we will continue on that because this is, last 3 years, it seems like yearly. Seems like somebody hacks us, where normally we have to let them in, and somehow they're bypassing that step. So it is been looked at for some months, and we will be moving forward
to try to get that taken care of.
Yes, yeah, we have to. That's just crazy when somebody could hack into your system.
Yeah. Turning back here to what you've been dealing with as a commission, you mentioned, animal shelter, and I know you've got a grant, and you've been trying to basically at this point trying to figure out where to go and how to staff it. Where is that sitting right now?
We had a short discussion with the sheriff here week before last and our public works director, and there was concern whether we basically would have to build it internally with our own staff due to the limited resources of the grant. The sheriff gave a proposal of how to staff it. Once again, that's more discussion we need to have. We're going to be having that discussion in a workshop on September 3rd, probably in the afternoon, for more details, because once again, it's just more stress on the budget. Their proposal was for the timber deputies in order for them to oversee that. And there are some concerns on that. But they were showing, in the low 40,000s is what the county would have to come up with for that end of it. And still there was a discussion on 501c3. That didn't even take in any account of if we need veterinarian services and the cost of that. So there's still more to be worked on, but we're getting right down to a crunch because it would have to be built by June of next year. So
yeah, and
we have identified where for it to go up by the fairgrounds. So.
Okay, in Goldendale, near the Klickitat County Fairgrounds, so you've got a spot there for it. Does this basically come down to can it be staffed?
Yes, I agree with that. It's like you said, it all comes down to resources, and we're trying to hold the line. We're limited. I mean, we're actually in a good cash position, but we've got to pay attention to where we're at. Fortunately, our regional disposal company, which we received finances from, did renegotiate, or they're in the middle of negotiating with Snohomish County, which that's over a fourth of our revenues from Snohomish, and they were selected in the RFP to move forward. So that was a little nervous that we could lose large revenue source. And they just put in an RFP with the city of Seattle, which would be an additional 500,000 tons if we received that. So there's a lot of moving parts going on.
Moving to that hearing lineup, just to get an idea of a couple things. Number one, the Dallasport wastewater rates. This will be a continuation from, I think it was, I want to say probably 2 weeks ago, you had a rate hearing out there?
Yeah, last Thursday evening, we had a rate hearing down in Dallasport. And then after rate hearing, we did a Q&A. So this is a continuation of that. The board left it open for any written comments till last Friday. I haven't gone and haven't taken time to see if we had additional written comments. So we'll just continue from that because there is no longer public input or written at this time. So we'll take what we have and make a decision on the rates.
You mentioned you had a Q&A with Dallasport residents after that. What tended to get asked of you?
We talked quite a bit about the Dallasport wastewater system because we were trying to hold the public hearing just to the rates and for people to comment just on the rates. Then there was multiple different discussions. One individual had talked about Dallasport incorporating, but there's some state law that if you're next to a larger city of a certain size, they're asking, is it possible to get an interpretation on that? There was not a lot of discussion, but some discussion on a proposed data center. We didn't have a lot of discussion on that, but that had came up. Those were kind of the two larger pieces of discussion, and it was really good. Another discussion was within the contract that we work with a public utility. It states in there that they'll do public, just get with the public and educate them, on grease of their systems, et cetera, et cetera. So it really came out in that communication that we as a county with the public utility need to do a better job communicating with them. How is the system working financially? What are we doing to replace the worn out parts? Where are we financially? It was really good comments on how we could do things better.
Yeah, you mentioned the data center. Is there a formal application before you at this point?
No, we
Okay.
have no application for any data center in Klickitat County at this time.
Okay, we hear this and it gets brought up, and I'm not doubting the veracity of what's going on. It's just I imagine you're in the same position here. It's really hard to comment on speculation, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but no. I mean, we did kind of set up to have a workshop on data centers. We need to take a look at them. I think as commissioners, we need to try to get ahead. And, we have limited resources, whether it's water. We don't have a lot of control over the electric side, but water we do. And we need to be looking at, how far away from residents, how do we limit water use if they're going to come in Klickitat County, and other environmental concerns. So we need to probably be looking at a data center ordinance of what our expectation is.
How quickly can something like that be put together? I mean, there are a lot of steps to that.
Yeah, I want to say that we could hopefully put something together in several months, but it's like the one discussion we're going to have on extension of our moratorium and interim zoning controls. That's been in the works ever since I've been commissioner, and it just doesn't seem like things move as quickly as you hope they do. So, but to these data centers, I know there's been discussion for years in the workings, and I know of one that's been moving right along, and that's one going in the old aluminum plant site outside of Goldendale. That one's probably the one that's in the lead of any data center in the discussion, but I think they're still out quite a few months before they bring a permit in. If they brought one in sooner, I'd be surprised, but sounds like, and it's going to happen in Klickitat County because we're right next to the Bonneville grid and the Big Eddy power line for the moving of electricity.
And you're along the Columbia River. There's a water source. I mean,
yeah,
there is all sorts of issues there, and you have got a lot of land available. I mean, with data centers, I'm assuming the land's got to be zoned in some form of industrial, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's some of the discussion we need to have. If we're going to have data centers, where do we want them? In industrial zoning. And I always bring up like the old aluminum plant. That seems more ideal. That's a brownfield cleanup that needs to be cleaned up. And that seems like more of a logical area. There is industrial water rights that the public utility has there at that location. So we've got to have more discussion and follow up on that.
Real quick here, you mentioned, you alluded to the battery energy storage system moratorium. Sounds like you're going to talk extension of that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're talking about whether we're going to extend that another 6 months. That I foresee we we may, in my perspective. The Planning Commission does have a public hearing on September 28th. They're discussing a solar energy overlay zone amendment. And so they're just saying, this is where we'd like solar in Klickitat County. So taking our existing EOZ and shrinking it down just for solar. So that's going on at the same time.
With solar, I mean, is one of the big concerns here, because it's some of these large facilities. Does the impact on agriculture around the area become a real key part of all this?
Yeah, it does. It really does. How much ag land are we taking out of production? How close is it to residential? Not everybody wants solar next to their residence, and several other environmental concerns.
So again, that moratorium discussion is coming up tomorrow afternoon. Klickitat County Commission being basically all day in Goldendale. You can go to klickitatcounty.org if you want to check it out live, because you can get on the stream for it. And that's what I do on the news side to generate the stories for it. So anyway, people can check it all out. Again, child care workshop in the morning all the way through the various public hearings in the afternoon. Ron Ihrig, Klickitat County Commissioner, has been with us. Ron, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Mark. Appreciate it.
Always glad to do so. 8:52 in the morning on MCT. We'll come back and begin to wrap things up for you after this.
You can choose just anyone for your business and get the word out, or
You could choose Rage Graphics and Design and really get the word out.
Rage Graphics and Design.
Get the word out.
when you need a professional modern image.
Rage Graphics and Design.
Signs, banners, special advertising. At Rage Graphics and Design, we got you covered.
Get the word out.
You can have just anybody take care of your advertising, but why? When you have Rage Graphics and Design.
217 East 3rd Street in the Dalles.
Or call 296-SIGN.
Rage Graphics and Design.
Get the word out.
It's time to clear out those hazardous materials from your home, garage, and shop. Tri-County Hazardous Waste and Recycling Program is holding a free hazardous waste collection event for households and small businesses on Saturday, September 5th at Mid-Valley Market in Odell from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bring your fluorescent bulbs, garden pesticides and fertilizers, fuels, TVs and computer, and much more. Small businesses must pre-register by 4 p.m. on Thursday, August 27th. Visit TriCountyRecycle.com or call 541-506-2529.
Tune in weekday mornings at 8:05 and keep up with community events and issues with the Mid-Columbia Today Show on Mid-Columbia's news leaders, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital and Del Carpine Automotive.
8:56 in the morning. We do want to remind you that blood donations are needed now more than ever, especially for type O. And it's actually probably the second time in history that the Red Cross has called a national blood crisis. There's going to be a blood drive on Wednesday afternoon, 12:30 to 5:30 at the Underwood Community Center. And you can go to redcrossblood.org and get signed up for it and make an appointment. Donors with all blood types are needed. But type O blood supplies are especially critical, with type O positive inventory currently below a one-day supply. Blood is needed every 2 seconds for trauma victims, cancer patients, surgeries, and other medical emergencies. So if you can do so, they're also saying, hey, bring a friend and double the impact, and you'll receive a $20 Amazon gift card by email for your donation. So again, the blood drive is going to be at the Underwood Community Center on Wednesday from 12:30 to 5:30. And redcrossblood.org, I believe. They don't have the website written down here, but we've done that before. redcrossblood.org if you would be willing to sign up and help out in that. Also want to mention Hood River Wrestling Club's got a golf tournament coming up on Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, Indian Creek Golf Course in Hood River. You can register at Hood River Wrestling Club's Facebook page. That's where you can find the links to be able to get signed up for it. It is a scramble, as most of these tend to be. See, last week it was Skyline was out at Indian Creek. The Skyline Scramble took place for Skyline Hospital and White Salmon. I know this also because yesterday I was out there and they didn't pick up all their signs. There were still signs out on the holes. I hope they got them picked up. Also, I mentioned Families in the Park continue on Thursday evening at 7 at Jackson Park and Hood River. This free concert will be with Hip Machine, presented by Hood River Lions Club and the Gorge Community Foundation. Also, celebrating Woody Guthrie's Columbia River Songs with Bill Merlin and Libby Burke. Songs, stories, and sing-along events coming up on Saturday evening at 6 at the Dallas-Wasco County Library, and that is going to be a free event. Here's what we got coming up for you the rest of the week on the show. Mayor of the Dalles, Rich Mays, will join us tomorrow morning. Wednesday, we'll talk to folks from Waugap. Thursday, Dan Keneally, Columbia Gorge Orchestra Association, will preview what they've got coming up. And we'll talk Columbia Gorge Community College. And Friday, Master Gardner's going to be with us on Friday. So we will do all that on the Mid-Columbia Today show coming up over the course of the week. So plenty to talk about, and we are out of time. For Cameron Eisenberg producing, I'm Mark Bailey. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday.
Columbia Today Show is a public affairs presentation of Bicoastal Media Columbia River. The views expressed on the program are not necessarily those of the station, parent company, or of the sponsors. We welcome your suggestions for future shows. Call us at 541-386-1511. Listen to Mid-Columbia Today where you want. Follow or subscribe to Mid-Columbia Today wherever you download your podcast to get the show delivered every day to your mobile device.